in bay'ah. Now, Ma'ruf does not impose restrictions on your loyalty to the person at whose hands you are getting initiated. In fact, it increases the liabilities. Why this word Ma'ruf was used particularly in case of ladies' bay'ah was that ladies, it was possible, there was a danger from ladies' side that they could say in ordinary dealings, in ordinary marriage ceremonies and this and that, where specifically the Holy Quran has not mentioned anything. There we are free. So our bay'ah does not include ordinary life pattern, the social pattern of our lives and things and that sort of thing. And they could say that we are free to do whatever despite our bay'ah at Awaan, and that is only limited to the strictly speaking religious affairs. So Allah knew all this could happen. So Allah told Muhammad to include this word Ma'ruf, which means even in those things which are not strictly religious, but which are good in its sense, in essence. So in everything good, we will follow thee, even if that good is not specifically mentioned in the Holy Quran or laid down as imperative by Allah anywhere. So when we use this word Ma'ruf in the pledge of Qudamul Ahmadi or Ansarullah, some people are mistaken. They think that this word Ma'ruf decreases their responsibility and liability towards Jamaat. They forget that it increases. It means that we will not raise questions about its being purely religious or not. If we are ordered about to do things, we will do them as long as they are good. That is to say, they are not contradictory to the teachings of the Quran. So there one can stop. But beyond that, even if a positive teaching cannot be found from the Holy Quran to support some particular order, the person who pledges this will have, according to his own pledge, will have to be obedient in every respect.
I have one more question.
Yes, please. Yes, please, you are allowed, of course.
Okay. Why do we reject the Christ miracle that he taught on the water, and he said in the Bible that he taught on the water, and that he walked on the water, but we represent like almost the same miracles to them.
I couldn't understand the second part of your question. Why do we reject, as I understand you, if I'm right then let me know, why do we reject the miracle of Jesus Christ to have materially, physically walked on water? Is that the first part of the question? What is the second part?
But we present almost the same kind of miracle to them.
We present almost the same types of miracle?
To them.
How? Do you? I have never done that.
I read from the book, I think it's from
Yes.
That once he was walking with Hazrat Muslim Maud,
yes.
And Hazur asked him about a fruit.
No, but that is not walking on the water.
No, but they were...
I'll come to that. You have asked a question which comprises two different regions and two different spheres in fact, and they have their own internal spherical laws to control them, and they are not transferable to each other. I'll explain that. The miracles of a prophet which are shown to the non-believers have a distinct category, and they have certain limitations imposed by the Holy Quran and the other religious books and the history of the prophets. And there are other miracles which are shown to the believers, not for the sake of making them believers, but to further enhance their belief in which they are already deeply rooted. And those miracles are shown to them to show them the limitless powers of the God in which they have believed. And these miracles have been shown by every prophet to a limited audience or limited spectators from their own people. So if such things happen and they are reported, the non-believers, the outsiders, are not bound to believe in them, because as far as they are concerned, there is no evidence. Today, if somebody produces an evidence in which there is no outside witness, you have every right to reject it. So the second type of the miracles are not binding upon the non-believers. If the Christians claim that this walking on the surface was displayed to all the non-believers and this was done so to make them believe, then we say that perhaps you have misunderstood that. Either it was a limited miracle only for the disciples of Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, or the miracle is metaphorical and you could not understand. It was in fact a vision, according to us, as far as the rest of the world is concerned. It was a vision carrying prophecies for the future. And Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, as far as Hazrat Muslim Maud perhaps, it is Hazrat Muslim Maud, or I don't remember exactly. If any Muballigh or Murabbi here remembers, he should help me when I state the whole thing. I have read it either in the books of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam or Hazrat Muslim Maud, that this miracle meant the mastery of the Christians over waters in future. Because the waters were made subservient to Jesus Christ, and it appeared that he walked upon waters to his own disciples, in fact. There was a great prophecy that in future the entire world power will be conquered through the mastery of the Christian nations over waters. So Christians would in future emerge as great naval powers. That was the prophecy, in fact. And again, in the same place, subject to rectification, whether it is Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam or Hazrat Muslim Maud. In Tazkira. Well, I am not very sure, but when you show me, then I will be sure. Yes. Yes. I mean, subject to that. The second part is that Allah has shown Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam that in the second advent, because this advent had to be more glorious, much more glorious than the previous advent, because the first advent was as a servant, as a subordinate of Hazrat Moses alayhi salatu wasalam, and the second advent was to be as subordinate of Hazrat sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So in that relationship, naturally, the second advent had to be more glorious. And in this regard, it is written that Allah had promised Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam that he would give his followers mastery over airs. Now, this is a very interesting situation we face today. The Christians seem to have mastery both over the seas and over the airs. So if this mastery over the airs is promised to Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, that means it is something completely different from the present mastery over airs which we see today. Maybe the Ahmadis build new towns in the airs, or whole cities or continents are created in the air. Otherwise, this will not be called a mastery over the air by the followers of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam. And also, this